In a previous video on Rust, I have explored a bit how to access characters from strings that are not allocated on heap. So what I did in the previous video was to use the byte literal syntax, which doesn't allow non-ASCII characters, but at the same time this isn't allocated on the stack, and also not on the heap. Instead, it will be allocated in the read-only segment of the program, so this entails that this won't be changed at runtime. But at the same time, it is not allocated on the heap, which is an important point. And the gist of the previous video was that we could access characters from this string simply by using indices, because this string only allows ASCII characters, which means that we know for sure. Also, adding the fact that in Rust strings are UTF-8 encoded, we know for sure from these two ideas that only ASCII characters are allowed, and strings in Rust are UTF encoded. By joining these two, the conclusion is that we can safely access characters, because each character will be at most 1 byte. If we allow non-ASCII characters in a string, then it means a single character can have more bytes, as it is the case for this letter, which is a Romanian character, and this will require 2 bytes in order to be stored. So the question still remains: if we have such strings, how can we access the first character? Because it seems it isn't as easy as I thought it would be. I'm very curious to try how it will look in JavaScript, since that's my main language. But anyway, I will do that at the end. For now, I just want to explore a few methods that I've learned about, and see how it goes. First, I think I will want to allocate this string on the stack, on the heap. Sorry, string from was it? I think. Okay. I think something went wrong here. Okay, so we have string from, and we have this thing here. Okay, I also have to put quotes, so finally we have something here, and this string will be allocated on the heap. Now, what I've learned about is that from this string we can access 2 different methods. The first one is chars, and the second one would be bytes. The difference is kind of obvious, meaning that the first one will create an iterator over the characters of the string, while the second one will also create an iterator, but the values will be the actual bytes. So, considering that this string here has 3 characters, then we would expect this count to be 3. But since the first character is since it requires 2 bytes in order to be stored, then it means that the total number of bytes would be 4. So basically the main idea is that chars can be composed of multiple bytes. The number of bytes, it depends on the encoding scheme that the language or that you are using. In this case, strings in Rust use the UTF-8 encoding scheme, which means that a single character will require at least 1 byte. Yeah, at least 1 byte. So let's see whether what I've said is right or wrong. So I have these two print statements. The first one will count the number of characters and the second one will count the number of bytes. If we run this program, then we see 3 and 4. Just disregard the last one for now. So as I said, that there will be 3 characters and 4 bytes, because the first one will require 2 bytes, the second one 1 byte, and the last one also 1 byte. So the total will be 4. Now coming back to my question, how can we access a character from a string given an index? Then for that we have the char indices method, which returns an iterator over the indices. Now that I think about this, so this will return the indices, but I need to access a character via an index, so and their position. Okay, so so by the first definition it means that the iterator will also contain so by accessing any item from this iterator, it means that we will get a tuple of the string index, of the character index, and the character itself. So okay, it makes sense. Which means that if we invoke this, then the first character will be this character here. But if we do next ones again, I would expect this. It doesn't work for some reason. If I do and okay, if I do like 0, it should be the same, and it is. And now if I do, for instance, 1, it should be able to take the letter A, and it does. So this was what I wanted to show, what I've learned about Rust, about strings in Rust. And lastly, what I wanted to show you was something that you might not be, or actually there are 2 more things that I want to show. The first one is something weird, or at least not expected, from this character, because this character is actually a composed character, meaning that if you want to access the number of characters from this string, you will have a surprise. It will be 2, because this character, due to the current encoding that Rust uses and due to the Unicode table is being built in order to support as many characters as possible, this character is actually composed of 2 other characters, which is the brief, that this thing on top, and the letter Y. So by joining these 2 characters together, you get this one, and that's why you get the number of characters being 2. What's even more interesting is that the number of bytes will still be 3, if I'm not wrong. Yes, because this character also requires 3 bytes, but I think the more correct way of saying this from a semantic point of view is that this thing is not actually a character, but is a grapheme or something like that. I don't know exactly how we pronounce that, but it's more semantically said grapheme, and the grapheme can be composed of multiple characters, which is the case now. And lastly, what I wanted to show or to check even for myself is, what if, let's say I'm in Node and I want to access the first character from this, and okay, then it essentially, by using the syntax, it refers to the number of it refers to the characters and not to the number of bytes. So it knows how to do the proper conversion or to do the proper mapping. Okay, so I think this will be it for this video. My takeaway is that we have the chars, the bytes, and the char indices methods in order to properly access string information. And for now, the string information is related to characters, to bytes, graphemes, and I think they're all. So this will be it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.